And it's recording. So, okay, so your name is Jesse. And what is your address? Did you say 5th Avenue in Northwest?
Yes, 5th Avenue.
Okay. And we're in Miami, Oklahoma. I need to put this into a template so I can just click tab and to go to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, cell phone number. This is just for contact information.
Yeah.
In the interview. Okay, how long has the family lived at the residence?
Since 2000 and just 2000, I guess.
Since 2000.
So mostly I've been there on my whole.
Pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, 1 year I was at my other little house, but the rest it's been here since I was 13. Well, now for 13 years, I guess. Yeah, everybody's been there.
Oh, so for only 13 years?
Yeah.
Not around there. So since 2003. Any known history of the location? So structural changes, previous occupants. Was there previous paranormal activity that anyone told you about, like before you guys moved in or anything?
Not actually, but my neighbor, I told him about the house before I went to come here. A few days ago, I told him I was gonna go do this, and I told him, did you know the family here that used to live here? And he lived there longer than me and my whole family. So he just told me the family goes in there much, but they haven't really came out. That's all. He don't know much. Okay. Until we came here, he seen that we were, a little nicer.
Yeah, more talkative,
Yeah.
more social.
And when we first moved into that house, I remember going first time into the house. It was very alone in there. It just felt all blackish. There were these 2 seats, and they were both on the opposite sides of the room. And I always thought that like the mom and dad always sat very far away from each other, I guess. Because both seats, there was no couches in the house. And you know how, and it's a tiled floor, so you know how you can see the couch's imprint?
Yeah.
Where like if dirt is right
Someone
there.
had been sitting there.
Yeah, nothing was there.
No one had been sitting.
And I remember I went in there with my sister and the guy that was selling it and me. And that was all just my mom.
Was there any, have you done any, was there any, prior to you moving in, was there any large structural changes, like anything major that the family did before you guys moved in?
That might have. Not before we moved in. We actually just built on the house. There used to be a little back porch, and we actually built that on. And that was my room, supposedly. And I just never liked it in there, because I always felt like something was... it felt creepy to me, like I was scared to be in the back area, which was not attached to the whole house. And I never slept by myself. I always slept with my brother or somebody else. And I just never liked that room in the back that we actually added.
When did you guys add that? The addition?
Probably when I was 8. 8 or 9.
So what year would that been? You had to think back. So.
Probably 2007. 2007 or 6.
Is there any known history of the surrounding areas? Okay, I'll have to look into that. You probably would know that. Are there any accounts of paranormal activity at your previous residence? So before you moved in there, do you ever, as a little kid, was there any paranormal activity at your previous houses, or did it all start here?
I think it all started here. I was there for like a year or 2, like I said, so I really didn't know much. So I was barely growing up there. And then my dad finally bought that house. And that's where I started not feeling so well when it started around, I haven't seen anything since.
Were any tragedies or deaths associated with the immediate area or neighborhood? So, do you happen to know of any deaths or anything?
Around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the area? Okay.
2.
2 deaths. Okay. What happened?
Right behind my house. where I have, well, we have a pool there, and there used to be a family right behind us, and supposedly one of their
So
family.
is the pool on your property?
Yes, and yeah, there's a death there of their father, I guess, that died.
So one of their neighbors died.
Right on in our backyard, there's a house right behind ours,
Okay.
and well, I guess you have Google Maps, right? We can
Yeah.
actually look it up.
Yeah.
And right there, there's a fence, our house, the pool, and then the house right behind ours. A lady always used to go back there and smoke, and one day she told us that one of her, they passed because we were like cleaning up back there, and she came out and seen us and told us that they had somebody died there.
Okay. Do you like?
I don't know their name, no.
Yeah. No, don't really know any circumstances.
And then right beside her house, right now the first one, the right behind ours, they're out of the house. Nobody's there. Nobody lives there anymore.
Okay. So that house is empty.
It's abandoned, like just nobody's in there no more. And then the house right beside theirs, right when somebody died there, theirs right beside ours died too. It was their grandmother though, I guess. And my neighbor Philip, he told me about it because he supposedly knew him and was good friends with them, and they're gone now, I guess. Okay. We have two abandoned houses right behind ours.
What, if any, is your religious background, both family and present religious status? So like, what is, or if any, do you, what would you guys say that your family's religion is?
Mostly Mexicans.
So Catholic, probably? Or?
Oh, Catholic? Yeah, like Christians and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
Okay, so mainly Christian, right? Okay. Is there any history of drugs or alcohol use in the home?
No, not recently.
Not recently?
No.
There was earlier though, okay.
Yeah, we had, we had an aunt that their dad drunk a lot, and supposedly he was gonna go to church and start getting better.
Getting his life together, yeah.
No, he never did. He did it for a little bit and then started drinking again.
And you said that was an uncle?
Yes.
This part says list all medical medications and prescription items used in the past 3 years, including all prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, prescription eyeglasses, contact lenses, etc. Please make a list for each occupant. So the reason why this was asked is sometimes, okay, before I ask this, who's all seeing or experiencing the haunting? Is it, how many people would you like, or is other people in the house aware of it?
Yes.
Okay, who all's experienced it?
The whole family.
The whole family has?
That's been living there. Okay. Dad, mom, brother, sister.
Okay, so they've all experienced it.
They've seen, heard.
Okay, so the reason why that one's asked is sometimes prescription medications, what we try to do is before we rule it as a haunting, we try to rule out everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes prescription drugs.
I used to be ADHD a lot.
Yeah.
I took 9-10 pills a day.
Oh wow.
I have all the bottles in my house.
Okay. Do you still take any of those, or?
No, I laid off. I started feeling a lot more better and controlling myself.
Okay.
I had a lot of suicide things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen things recently, been in them. I'll tell you that rest later.
Okay.
Just when I was 11 or around there, 9, I had a teacher that used to bully me a lot, and I took medicine for that because I always
Glad to hear.
to kill myself actually.
Yeah.
And ran home from school and stuff like that. And
You were how old when that happened?
9, 10 or 11. And I was running home away from school and trying to commit suicide.
Has any of your prescriptions changed recently? Like, when did you stop taking that medicine? Did you say, like?
Age?
Just how many, like, was it years ago, or?
Yeah, a few years ago.
How many,
2
2 years ago.
I took a lot of counselors, a lot of anger, a lot of just a lot of everything. Like one of those
Anger management and
everything. Most probably a little more crazier. I wasn't crazy like I wanted to do crazy stuff.
right, yeah.
Like, but I've had those moments that I've actually went a little bit crazy for a little bit.
Yeah. And a lot of people have. I mean, you're not the only person that's ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on depression medication myself.
Mhm.
I suffer from depression and mild anxiety, and then Lexi suffers from moderate to severe anxiety, and then she has depression as well.
Mhm.
So we definitely understand, how that feels. I mean, it's no fun, especially when you have a teacher at a young age picking on you, which teachers are supposed to help people, not.
Yeah, I was in elementary school, and then in Head Start, I had a teacher that actually stuck me in a corner and pinched me,
You just kept repeatedly pinching.
me, just literally pinching me in a corner. Had her butt on me, like
Oh, like
squishing,
pushing you. Wow.
and pinching me. And then another teacher that never let me go to the bathroom, so I always had to go to the bathroom when I could. And
Has anyone else recently got on new medications? Like any of your other family? Just like
other family, or
Yeah.
or my family.
just your current family at the house. Like, has anyone else got on new medications recently that
Yeah,
could cause?
just
Okay.
my sister has a lot of depression. She had cancer.
Is she over the cancer? Okay.
She, but it's actually we don't know. She's been
It's benign for now.
it's been going well for the last few years, but now she has been seeing symptoms that she's seen in the past that caused it. She's starting to.
What type of cancer was it?
I actually forgot. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. It was when I was like 7, 6. That's when she got cancer.
How old is your sister?
She's 24.
Okay. And I'm guessing you were gonna say she was taking.
No, 26. Sorry, 26. 27. Yeah, right.
So I was gonna. So is she taking depression medicine now?
Yeah.
For that, or
She used to, and then I think that's it. Just her and my mom. My mom has a lot of a little bit of anxiety. Has yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like there's quite a bit going on that could be stirring up energies in my house. Is there any other family history you could think of that might be important, that just off the top of your head that you could say, that was an odd circumstance when Uncle Billy, did something, or, something that you think might have, spurred this on? Is there anything that in the history of your family that could spur on a haunting, possibly?
I had my cousin's dad has died in 2008, and that affected me a lot. And then my grandpa died as well. In
When did your in 2000?
2014? No, 2015. He's been 1 year dead. And that affected me. And then my cousin's dad has died as well. I was watching TV that day. My mom came in, bursting in the door and said, "Let's go." And I asked her why, and she's like, "One of your," she told me who died. And I sat there for a little bit and I felt this very cold feeling that day. I was really depressed-ish, and that's when it hit me pretty bad. And then when my grandpa died recently, that has been affected me, not as much, but others. I've seen it in my family, and it affects me as well, seeing them. And that.
Suffer. How many people live in the home?
5. So me, my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, yeah. And then, just live there.
What are their ages? So mother, you said mother, father,
Brother,
Brother.
sister, and
sister, and then Jesse. Okay.
My brother just turned 20 yesterday.
So 20, and then the sister is 26, right?
Yes, 26.
Okay, and your father is
45,
roughly, and then your mother is.
I think 46.
Okay. And how old is Jesse? That you, Jesse. How old are you?
14.
Okay, interesting. So that was all just like general information to kind of get a better understanding of the circumstances in the home.
Mhm.
Because a lot of things can stir up stuff,
Yeah.
like changes in the house. I would say so far, it seems like a lot of just hard times have been happening, and
Mhm.
that can really cause stuff to happen as well. So when did this disturbances begin, and what happened first? So what was the first thing you remember happening, and
Heard?
when did it
Or
happen?
like,
When did it happen?
Yeah.
Probably don't actually remember the day.
It doesn't have to be the exact day, just like it could be year
Okay.
or a month or just as close as you can get.
It's been going off and on.
Okay, when was the first time that? If you had to remember back,
Probably 2 years ago.
so around 2 years ago.
No, let's say one year ago. It's been happening a lot more recently. Year and a half, around there, yeah. Well, the first thing that was really weird was the little thing that actually just pointed out something in there that was happening, that was going to happen. I had a feeling that something was going to happen, and I don't know why. And I actually, there was a day that on elementary school that, what's it called? That's when I was taking all my medication, had all that suicide things in my head, been acting weird,
Okay.
having a lot of counselors. I actually overdosed on pills one day.
Okay.
The doctor actually prescribed me the wrong medication, and a lot more milligrams. It was supposed to be around 100 something, but she actually prescribed it to 800. So I overdosed on I think 2 pills, because that's how much I take for the morning, 2 in the morning and stuff like that. And I overdosed on that, and I started acting really weird since I'm overdosed on that pill. I told my teacher, I was like, hey, my mom was good friends with her and everything. So when I went into that class, I told her, hey, I took my pills today. I think I'm gonna be feeling better.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. And so I sat right beside her. So like if her desk was right there, I sat right here by these little cabinet shelf things for the books and everything. And her desk was right there, and I sat right behind her because I had issues in the time, so I couldn't sit with the other kids. I was always out right beside her. And I told her that day, and then we were about to go to the library, and I started crying, just feeling this pain in my head, like throbbing-ish, like something was in my head, something was irritating me. And I started crying, and I got up, and the whole class was lined up, ready to go to the library. So they went, the teacher was like, leave, and I started throwing desks, actually just grabbing and feeling angry for no reason, and throwing stuff around. I wasn't screaming, I was actually just physically doing stuff. And I finally got to the point where I was wearing myself out, and I had the principal, 4 teachers drag me out of the class because I wasn't feeling that well. I was like passing out, kind of passing out in a way.
but I was,
Fading in and out.
Yeah, very bad. And they were carrying me. They're literally carrying me. I was so weak. I didn't feel like my legs. I didn't feel nothing. I was down the hallway, and I just seen the hallways go like this, just, and I started hearing stuff.
What did you hear? Do you remember?
What I mostly heard in my stuff was laughing. Something was laughing at me. I felt like somebody's laughing at me the whole time. Just like a creepy-ish laugh, I guess. And that's when I started seeing things. I was hallucinating.
Now, okay. So you would have said it could have been caused by the medication at the time, the hallucination part.
Yeah.
What did you see when you hallucinated?
Recently and in the past, I've mostly seen very big figures, tall. I say about 6'2", that tall black figure. I've always seen him, her, something, whatever.
When you said you see these black figures, what do they look like? Like just black? Like do they have any features? Like
Hat,
what kind of hat? Just a baseball cap, a top hat.
kind of a top hat-ish. I've always, people always say I've seen black figures, but this one actually I've seen it, right in my face, right beside me. But that day I heard that laughing,
And this happened at the school?
yes, at the school. And since then, that's when it's really struck it, and that's what really stuff started happening.
Interesting.
And then that's the little part right there. That's what hit me.
When did this happen? Like how
My
old?
sixth grade year in elementary school, and then from there, nothing has happened, and then now it started happening as well again. It's just like
So after that mark,
uh-huh.
nothing happened at all.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
To the 7th, 8th, and well 6th. No, sorry, 5th grade, because there's grade 3. I think there's in elementary school 3, 4, 5. It was in 5th grade, and then middle school is 6, 7, 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So
So 3 years nothing has happened, and now 8th grade started happening.
did it happen 8th grade or 9th grade? Like
Good.
8th grade.
8th grade?
8th grade. That's when it started happening again. That's when I started hearing, seeing things.
When did the most recent incident occur and what happened? So like what's been going on recently? It doesn't have to necessarily be the most recent, but what's been happening recently?
I think I've had I know I just said I think, but
So you've had a feeling of, you said you felt something?
yes, I felt this weird, I can't usually sleep at night, mostly. I get that weird feeling that somebody's looking at me, watching me, and some people say that if you actually feel, you have this sense in your head or something, your brain or whatever.
Sixth sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Like you can feel someone watching you?
Yeah, and I always have that feeling, and I always like to put my blanket over my headish, kind of, and have a little bit of air.
Right.
Breathe.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, and that's one of them, little one. And then the most recent, biggest one was I was with my girlfriend, and in my room, and I was sitting there, and we were just watching some TV, and I started feeling the same thing that I felt that day.
So this time it happened during the day?
Yeah, no, it was during the night. It was
Oh, it was the night again.
around 10 or 9. And I kind of felt the same feeling that I felt when I was in 5th grade, of that throbbing. Something was like,
So it kind of felt like it was coming back all of a sudden?
yeah, irritating me like a lot. I felt like she was, trying to tell me what's wrong,
Yeah.
And I pushed her away many of times and told her, don't touch me, And she was like, what's wrong? And, trying to calm me down, I guess. But I always ended up telling her, she like, tried to, hug me, I guess, and I pushed her away. She told me all this. And I only remember kind of the half of it, but I'll tell you, and then I pushed her away many of times, and I just sat there on my bed like this exactly, with no shoes, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was literally just going like this, like something was irritating me,
You were trying to figure out what was going on kind of thing, and you were just trying to focus on...
Kind of. But I felt like something was in my head. I felt like, a headache, obviously.
Yeah.
But this was major headache. Like, I don't know if it was a headache or not, but I was just on my bed leaning over, pulling my hairish kind of, like,
Almost kind of.
getting frustrated.
Right.
Something was...
Because you didn't want to feel this way, and it was...
Yeah,
frustrating
and I was
in the
going, oh, I just like... And then she was, trying to, I was like, get away, I don't want to talk to you. But I never speaked. I never talked.
She never said anything to
I
her.
never said nothing to her. And then these exact shoes on, I have a little shoe rack in my room, and I was right there in my bed, and I went to put on my shoes, and I had my pajamas on, and I kind of went to put on my shoes and tied them, and she was right there sitting. She was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I never talked to her. I was tying my shoes and everything, and I ended up just opening the door, and she was still on the bed and saying, "What's wrong?" And I told her, "Hey, I gotta get out of, I told her, I gotta get the fuck out of here." So I told her that. And then I walked out the door, I opened it and everything, and I went outside. And I was right there on my lawn, just looking at the sky. It was dark. I was still getting irritated, pulling-ish my hair, I guess. And I went to the trash can, and I just started punching it. I punched it once, and it went flying. And she was like, "What the heck?" I was getting angry, very angry, for no reason, I guess. And then I walked around. I went to the bushes in my front house, in my my front yard. And then I went out into the street. And she followed me kind of the way, and she was still on the lawn, and I was out in the street. And then I told her, "I'll be back. I'll be back." And I just started running down the whole street, and it was literally dark. It's 10 at night.
Yeah.
It's gonna be out, and I don't know why it hit me at that time. Whatever it was, and I just started running down the street, and that's all I forgot. That's all. Everything else went blank, and
When did your...
and then just pieces. I started like things. I was kind of like felt everything was fake. I was running very fast,
Yeah.
and I didn't feel nothing. Like I felt like I could run for days, literally. I didn't feel nothing. The ground felt fake. Everything was fake. And then I was running down the street, and that's when I started hearing the laughing as well again. Down that river by my house.
Yeah.
That river. I ran all the way down there. Down to the dirt road and everything. That's where I ended up, and then I started having
When did
flashes.
you hear the laughing again? At what part did you start hearing the laughing? While running?
While running, yes. I stopped for a little bit.
Do you remember, like, how far did you get before you started hearing the laughing? Like, where were you?
I ran all the way. I just remember running very far, and this just came to everything was fake.
Yeah.
I felt like nothing. I forgot some stuff, and then little parts I remember. I remember running off, going all the way down to the river, and then coming all the way back, walking very slowly. That's all. And then stopping in the middle of the road between my house, all the way down there, going down the whole hill, down that whole road, down the whole river, and there's 2 churches right there. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was right there by that forest, forestish thing right there, right in the middle, right there. I stopped, and I started hearing that laughing. Like somebody literally repeating, just laughing at me. I don't know why. And then I just screamed, "Stop." My girlfriend heard it from all the way from the house, all the way up there, and I just screamed, not as loud as I could, but pretty
Not
loud.
loud enough that you were
Loud.
so agitated. You were
Yeah.
just, stop.
Yeah, I was like, "Stop." And my mom, I guess she went inside and told my mom that I ran off. and I was walking back a little.
Mhm.
No, when I said stop,
Did that,
my
Didn't
mom,
think or-
no,
it didn't have any effect?
kept laughing,
Okay.
something, I don't know, I'm not saying him, her, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, started laughing, and I heard my mom's voice. She was
From the house or?
From
in
the
your head?
house.
Okay.
from the house, and I was halfway, I was just sitting right there, standing actually, sorry. And I heard my mom say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I felt like that snapped me out of it when I heard my mom's voice. And that like snapped me out. I was like, "Whoa, why am I here?
Right.
Like, what the
Then you
heck?"
Kind of came to your senses.
Yeah, that's when I came back to my senses. And I started walking up the road, and then I was gonna tell you that whole thing that happened, and then what my girlfriend's what she told me that she's seen actually stuff as well.
Okay, can I get a separate interview with her, do you think? Would that be possible?
No, probably
No.
not.
Okay.
What did she see?
She actually, we were texting. I don't know if I got the text anymore, but she told me that when I was there, almost putting on my shoes, my closet door was open at the time. She remembered the closet door open, and she said that she seen a shadow in there, a shadow looking at her. And when at one point, she was trying to tell me what's wrong, and she said that she couldn't say that. That she felt like whatever she says, that shadow or whatever it was not letting her talk to me.
I've actually experienced something like that before. The whole not.
Where like you're like,
You
Try to say,
Trying to
yeah,
speak.
I've actually felt that before.
yeah, she said she felt that in my room, trying to tell me what's wrong. But and then one point she didn't say nothing. She said she couldn't speak at me, and she said when I was walking down the road, when I was kind of in the road, when I started running, she said she seen a shadow follow me. And there was no, down my whole street, there's no light, so what shadow? She just said she seen a dark shadow. It wasn't my shadow,
Yeah.
our reflection. She said she's seen a shadow follow me. Like not on the floor, literally, right behind me. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Like somebody, just a shadow. I don't know how to explain it. But she said when I started running down the whole road, she seen a shadow follow me on the way. And she got very scared. And from there she started speaking, she went into the house and told my mom. And then she said when my mom said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was walking up the road, she seen the shadow just, like if I was right here standing, I'm walking up the road, snapping out of it, and she said that the shadow just turned and went the other way. And she told me, I'm like, "You better stop playing, don't scare me." And she said, "No, she really seen it." She's like, "Yeah, I seen it." And that's one of the most recent ones I've had, the biggest recent.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a big occurrence. How old's your girlfriend?
She was 13.
Next one. Okay, so next question is just to kind of get a feeling for timelines. So kind of figure out when stuff happens. So are events more frequent during certain hours of the day more than others? And that's day or night. If so, what time, if you happen to notice when they happen most often?
I think obviously at night.
So, often at night. Have you ever noticed what time of night? So, one time was at 10 o'clock. Also, how long did that take? Did you happen to notice, like, how long that episode lasted? Like, when was the next time you noticed the time? If you did. I mean, if not, that's fine.
I think I wandered around for like 30 minutes.
So that happened for around 10 minutes, so went around
30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes.
30, 40, yeah. It was 10 something and she was leaving at like 1. I mean, sorry, like 12.
Okay, I see.
But she ended up leaving at 11 because that happened. she got scared and she just didn't want it to be there.
Which is understandable. I mean.
Yeah.
So one happened around 10. What's another, like, has another occurrence happened around any other times that you've noticed?
11,
11.
and one was at 2 in the morning. Have you ever heard of that, like 2 in the morning things that happen? What is it called? Devil's Hour, I guess.
It's actually 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
It's Devil's Hour. Well, there's the witching hour. That's what is midnight till midnight around that time, and then 3 a.m. is the Devil's Hour.
Why is that?
It also has to do with the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the Devil's Hour, 3 o'clock a.m., is kind of a mockery to the Holy Trinity. So it's their way of mocking the Holy Trinity. So what do you remember happening at 11 p.m.? Do you remember what happened?
I took a photo.
Oh, okay. So this is the photo?
Yes.
Okay. And what was in the photo?
You actually gotta have a pretty good eye to see it, but you could actually see an outline of a girl. Let me tell you about the whole room thing. So my sister, I'll show you the photo here in a minute, but she was moving out to work. She was working, and she found an apartment to move out of the house. And I had that room that we built onto the house,
Yeah.
but I never really slept in there.
The other room you didn't really like.
Yeah, and I usually put my stuff in there, like my zombie stuff,
Yeah.
my car stuff and stuff. And she gave me her room, and my sister has encountered some stuff too when she was in her room. She said one night around 10, 11 as well, she felt, I think there's a guy or man in the house,
Okay.
and as well a little girl. And I feel like this girl, I'm saying it's a girl because I actually seen a lot of girls in the stuff that I've encountered. She felt one night that she was sleeping, and she was still awake watching TV, but
Like the sister was?
my sister, and her bed, it's like her bed right here, like the headboard right there,
Uh-huh.
and her facing this way,
Okay.
and then the closet door's like that door, but it's on this right here.
Okay.
But no, it's right here. Cause my bed, I have switched around,
Yeah.
but her closet door, which is my room now, was open at the time, and she felt this. She didn't feel. She actually seen. Sorry. She seen this little girl walk out of the closet, and her bed was pretty high at the time. It was like that high, and the little girl was like that high, that tall. So I don't know what
probably
age.
4 feet.
4 feet, yeah,
Roughly.
around there. And she seen this little girl walk out of the closet and just looked at her for a little bit while my sister was on the bed laying, and my sister seen the girl. And she felt, the little girl jumped on the bed
Really?
and started strangling my sister and just started choking her. And that's how my sister, and then that's what she told me, that she told us one night, we always come up this, we're bored and we always tell stuff that's happened in our houses, my cousins and everybody. And my sister told me that, and she's like, yeah, that's what, because my cousins, my family, everybody, we've actually seen a lot of stuff. We actually have this creepy thing in our family, I guess. But my sister said that this little girl just came out of the closet and jumped on the bed and started choking her, and my sister couldn't breathe at the moment. And then she started breathing again, and the little girl wasn't there. And in the same room, she had a friend over, and they looked up this thing on internet before or after it happened, that my sister's friend, she was sleeping at night, and in the same room, my room, and she just opened her eyes for some reason, and she seen this white ballish thing floating in the air, and she got really scared, and she woke up my sister, and my sister seen it as well, floating in the air, just there, a white thing just floating in the air. And they got really scared, and then they just you know, covered themselves with the blankets and then looked and it wasn't there. And they looked it up on the internet, what it is meant for, and it looked up as some kind of demon, some kind of, I don't know I forgot what it was, but just a white figure floating in the air, ball thing. And that's what she said. And that was her friend, and, you know, why would she make that up at like 12 at night, 12 or 11 at night? And now that's my room. My sister was like, you could have it. And since that girl has been in there, the little girl, that's where we think. My girlfriend thinks it's a girl as well. She thinks we were like, you know, just messing around thinking, but we actually think that she's kind of jealous that my girlfriend's in there. Because since my girlfriend's been in there, every time that she's usually in there now, little weird things has happened. Like the closet door opens by itself. Or that thing that happened, that she seen that shadow and stuff when she thought I got possessed. Which I'm thinking that I really don't know if I did or didn't.
Well,
because it just happened like that.
it sounds more like what could have happened. Possibly, this is theory at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I haven't really necessarily investigated anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, all of this is theory, but
Yeah.
there's we can't really say any of it's fact. But
Yeah.
there's possession,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bunch of different types of possession. You can be possessed by a spirit, you can be possessed by a demon, you can be possessed by...
Hope it's not by a fucking demon.
Yeah, a lot of things. And, let's hope it's not a demon.
Yeah.
Those aren't fun.
Yeah.
But you can be possessed by a lot of things. But there's also a full possession is where it takes over your body more, kind of takes over your body for its own use, its own joy or its own pleasure. Whereas there's another type, which is what it sounds like what happened to you, is called, instead of possession, it's oppression. Anyways, there's different types. There's possession, which is full-on control, and then there's oppression. Mm-hmm. Oppression, which is what it sounds like you might have had a couple times, is where you don't lose control of yourself necessarily. You do a little bit to an extent, but it's not full control. You might start feeling feelings that you don't know why you're feeling that way.
Like my head hurting.
Yeah.
That's and it was at night. It was weird because I was feeling good and then just popped my head. Just it started hurting very bad.
So it can cause feelings that you wouldn't normally have. It can cause dizziness. It can cause.
I had that.
Dizziness. Like when I stand it up to open the door, I was like,
kind of dizzy.
yeah, but
I don't know.
That was probably the fact that just you had all this going on and it overwhelmed your senses. And I think the reason you felt the need to run wasn't necessarily the spirit doing it, wanting you to run. I think it was the fight. There's in psychology that it's called fight or flight, which means as a human, you're instinctually going to either run or you're going to fight it. And you instinctually didn't know how to fight the thing. So your first instinct was to run. Mm-hmm. So
Why did I punch the trash can though?
Because I think this is just...
Irritation, like anger?
Again, theory. I think it was trying to repress you and cause you to feel upset and cause you to feel anger. It was feeling this, and so it wanted you to feel this. And so it was taking out its own personal... I don't want to say vendetta. It's not a vendetta.
But when I punched it and I finally got out of that whole stage, I didn't feel nothing, and I punched it hard.
Yeah, that's probably because...
Weird.
Yeah, and like you didn't...
It wasn't adrenaline. It wasn't adrenaline.
Yeah.
It wasn't adrenaline. I felt like just angry at everything.
Yeah, and again, I think that could have been the spirit not taking over, but making you feel that way. So it's like almost like a blanket on you, like it's really hard to describe. It makes you feel this way, and so your body wanted to get away. You were feeling agitated, angry, annoyed, all these negative energies, and so it's probably was feeding off of your negative energy. So the more negative and the more angry and the more hostile you became, the stronger it got and the more power it had over you. And so your instinct said, well, I gotta get away from this. I gotta run. And so you ran outside, but it followed. And so you started punching it. You were trying to get, I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of this.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't working. So you started running. And
Like 3 blocks.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Until your mom was able to kind of snap you out of it.
Yeah.
And
So that's what my mom thinks, just what you're saying right now.
yeah, and so your mom kind of, whenever you heard her voice, it broke the link between the spirit and you.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
what she
so-
said.
That's when you were able to retake over your mind and your emotions and everything, and it kind of dissipated.
Turned off.
Yeah, just went back into the veil. So that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. So not necessarily possession, but oppression.
I'm slowly feeling like, I don't know, but I'm slowly feeling this headache.
Talking about it.
Yeah. Like just a little bit of pain, not as much as I felt that day.
We might have to take a break from it then. So that all happened around midnight. You said one time it was 12 o'clock in the morning. Do you happen to remember what happened then? Was that a completely different
I
time?
think that's when I took the picture.
No, you said you took the picture at 11 p.m.
11. And then 12, I think. Cause weird times I wake up.
Just randomly throughout the night.
Yeah. And then I wake up, I'll like go to the bathroom or go get a drink. And
A lot of people do that, but it could be something else too, causing
Yeah.
you to wake up.
sometimes what they say at those weird moon, like supposedly whatever, devil's hour, you wake up, and my cousin has told me this, he's like, sometimes the spirit just wants to tell you that it's there.
Yeah.
Is that right? You think?
Possibly, yeah, it could be.
Tell you that it's just there.
Yeah.
Wakes you up for,
There's not, yeah, it's like, hey,
I'm here.
I'm here.
But I actually don't remember what.
So you said you thought there was a male and female. What is the male that the black figure, or is a male completely different spirit?
I think the male doesn't do much. I haven't seen it. I only see the male a lot. I always like, sometimes during the day or night, I just see it at weird places just standing. It hasn't really not done nothing to me.
You notice what kind of clothing are the little girl and the man wearing? Or is it just normal clothing?
I feel like the
Older
man,
clothing.
I feel older, like a jacket, kind of like he's always dressed up nice-ish.
Okay.
In the olden days, I guess.
Like, so kind of like vintage.
Button, a dress shirt old people wear, like those
Yeah.
silkish kind of. And he's always wearing that hat. The girl, here's the picture I took.
Okay, can you show the camera as well?
Yeah.
Just kind of get it close.
You really can't see it.
Yeah, you probably won't be able to see it. I'll probably.
Well, you could actually download it on
Yeah.
that, but it was around that time.
Okay.
I don't know that time, but I felt the door was open at this time. I was sitting on my bed, and I was just laying on my bed, and I just had this feeling that something was there. I felt like this black shadow was there. I seen it. No face, nothing. And I just felt this weird feeling right behind me, so I was like, hey, I want to take a picture, so I did. And I looked closely, and that's what I see. So I just shut the door. And in random moments at night, I wake up, and my feet are pointed towards the door, and the door's open, and I usually lock it, which is very weird.
Right.
My brother says it's air or whatever, and I'm like, we have the AC not on.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely text me that picture so I can put it with.
at random nights, I'm laying down, and this happened like 3 times. I always end up, I always sleep straight. I never really move. But some random nights, the door's open for some reason, and my feet are pointed towards the door, and I always thought that whatever pointed me that direction wants to pull me that direction. Like there's something out there,
Possibly.
like something wants to take me out there, and it's pointing me that way, which pretty
What do
freaks
you
me
do?
out.
Yeah, right.
What do you usually do when that happens? Do you just close the door and try to go back to sleep?
Yeah. Or I just go tell my mom. I'm like, hey, this is pretty freaking weird.
Right.
And that really creeps me out sometimes because I'm just, sleeping, and I wake up with the blanket kind of off and my feet pointed towards the door, and the door's open, wide open, just like the photo I took, which is pretty creepy.
Is the activity more frequent in certain places than in others? So it sounds like it mainly happens at your house.
In my room,
Happens.
in my sister's room. And what my parents have heard, they say that they always hear stuff in the kitchen.
Sure.
They
Always
always,
rustling around.
no,
Like that? No.
they hear that the faucet's on.
Okay.
They hear that somebody's in the kitchen like washing dishes, I guess.
Do they hear anything else? Like any other?
That's what they've heard. That they always told me that they're like, yeah, my brother and everybody else, they act so calm to it. They're like they really don't care about it. They're always like, oh, it's just something. Oh, what about it? And they actually just never say something about it. Really, they don't care actually. I guess.
Okay. Has there been any other objects that moved besides the doors, the closet door and your door? That have moved at all? Like, have you ever laid something down and it moved? You went back to get it and it was gone?
Actually, I remember something happening like that, but it wasn't. It's happened to one of my phones.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday, actually. I have my music on my phone. I have another iPhone 4, and I have all my music on there. And I went to go place it on one of my stands up here. It's like a corner stand,
Yeah.
and I have a doll in my closet. My mom puts it up there. I don't know why, but it's like a weird little doll that she puts up there. It's still in the package and everything.
Yeah.
And that was been creeping me out a little bit. And I usually have that door, my closet, I don't know how to open sometimes. I usually shut it and there's like 2 clicks that goes and then, closes all the way. But I put my phone up there once, and it just moved down to my bed, I guess. Cause I was about to go to the gym, and I put my phone all the way up there. And then I went to go find it and it wasn't there, and I looked on my bed and it was right there.
This the doll in the box. Where does your mother place the doll again?
She places it in my closet, all the way in the corner, and I moved it to her room. I'll put it in her closet. So,
When did you move that?
like 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Did she ever say why she put it in there?
I never told him.
Did she ever say why she put the doll in there in the first place in her closet, just to store it, or?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so this is on objects again. If there have been unexplained movement of objects, was there anything strange about the manner in which the object moved or stopped?
Well, there's that one about the phone. And then at night, my cousin usually spends the night on weekends and one school year, and me and him, we're sleeping, and I've heard this by myself, but when I'm sleeping and I have my fan on, and then I turn it off at night, during the night, I turned it off, and then once I turned it off, kind of, like 5 minutes later, you know, the fan is completely off, and it spins just a little. I see it spin because I have this little headlight thing.
Yeah.
It's a little light, little lamp, and I turn it on, and I always have it on during the night until I go to sleep. And then I turned it off, that fan moved for some reason, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's probably the AC, which it's usually on, but I don't know if the AC is that strong to move the fan. And sometimes I'm like kind of scared, so I'm trying to like convince myself that was the AC.
Yeah.
So I turn off my lamp, and you could hear this marble. I think it's a marble or a coin.
Yeah.
You could hear this rolling,
Yeah.
like, but like a quarter marble rolling.
At the same time as the fan stops?
No, the fan's not on. The fan's turned off completely.
Well, I mean, when the fan moves. At the same time, do you hear that noise?
No.
Or is that at a different time?
It's a different time, completely off. It sounds like a quarter marble moving up in my ceiling, right above my head, right above my bed. You could hear this little marble just. Do you have something that I could try? Because I want to actually.
Oh, I might actually.
So it's just on my ceiling, and you can just hear. No. It's just this. That noise.
That noise.
Something just rolling.
And you can hear it all the way. Do you have an attic?
Attic?
Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to store stuff, and you could hear something rolling up there. My cousin heard it too. I was like, "Hey, do you hear that?" He's like, "Yeah, do you hear it?" "I hear it." And it's just rolling, and it happens like 5 times.
And it sounds like it's coming above you?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is definitely coming up from above you. You can distinguishly hear it from. Okay.
Yes. Do you know the word for where you have a dream, but you actually experience it halfway, and then the rest is kind of your dream, but you're actually in it?
Give me a little more on what you're talking about.
Well, I'm gonna tell you another recent thing.
Okay, yeah. Maybe if you describe it, I can.
4 weeks, 1 month ago, 1 month and a half, 1 month and 1 week, I guess, whatever. I was same, like I told you, I have that little lamp. I had it turned on.
Okay, one sec. Let me go back up to occurrences so that I can write this down.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 sec.
And this involves the girl.
So this is a dream, right? That you've had?
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just label it as a dream, and we'll fix it. And all.
So a dream, but I have, you know, like I told you, I have my lamp, and once we go to do the investigation, I'll show you my lamp. You can take pictures of it or whatever. My sister had it in her room before, and I kept it, and I just painted it a different color because it was pink. So. So I painted that lamp and everything, and I was in my room one night. My door was closed, and that lamp was on the whole time, and I was just sitting there on my phone texting, you know, my girl and one of my friends, and I fell asleep. I just passed out, just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And the lamp was on when I was texting, you know, and I fell asleep, and it was still on. But then I woke up suddenly, and the lamp was off. And the door was closed. Nobody was in there. But this actually happened, and I felt like everything in the house was black. Everything was black. Dark.
Can you describe the blackness? Like, I mean, that sounds so weird. Can you describe the darkness? How do you describe darkness? Did you have any feelings whenever?
Dark. Just
really dark.
Just lonely. Just like dark, and everything was like dead dark.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Darker than your average dark?
Yeah, it's pretty dark. Like everything was dark in my room. Nothing was turned on. The lamp was turned off, and when I was on my bed, you know, laying down, everything was dark. I looked up, I opened my eyes, everything was dark. I was like, what the heck? I just kept remembering that my lamp was on. How could it turned off?
Yeah.
And I went to go turn it on, but I actually felt the lamp in my dream, but I felt like it wasn't a dream. I felt like everything was real at that moment.
Yeah.
Everything was actually dark. And the lamp, the little nozzle that turns and turns it on, I could actually feel it
In your hand.
in my fingertip, you know. I could actually feel me trying to turn it on, and when I went to go turn it on, it wouldn't turn on.
Okay.
Like, you know, it has that little click,
Yeah.
turned on. And I tried both ways, but it didn't want to turn on. Everything was dead, dark. So I tried to grab my phone, because I wanted some light. I felt like I needed light.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to go get my phone like this, and my phone wouldn't turn on, and then it turned on, and I couldn't turn on the lamp like that. You know how you can turn on the little lamp
Yeah,
on your phone like that?
yeah.
This thing didn't want to turn on. Everything was dark. So I couldn't talk, like you said, you experienced that before where you can't talk. To the whole dream, I couldn't talk. I felt like, you know, I couldn't talk, you know. And I felt like really weak. So everything's dark in there. I can't talk. I feel weak. So I ended up falling off my bed during the night, and I actually felt me falling off the bed. Everything felt so real. Like just the ground, everything. And I started crawling to my brother's room. I felt like I just needed to go to talk to somebody, to go see somebody and tell them what was going on. And I probably need that drawing thing. And I was crawling down the hallway, and then I went to my brother's room. I ended up in my brother's room, and there was his bed. I still felt the bed. I could feel the material, everything. I felt so real. And then I tried to wake up my brother, and, you know, I was actually moving. I'm like, you know, and I, you know, could feel him shaking and stuff. And I tried to talk to him. I was like, you know, wake up. I was thinking in my head, come on, wake up.
Yeah.
I was crying and just telling him to wake up, but he didn't. And I got on the bed, and I was gonna lay right beside him. But it's weird because my mom said she's seen this girl, this woman, in the house before. But when I tried to wake up my brother, I turned around to go sleep,
Yeah.
to go, you know, sleep right beside him. And I turned around again, and it wasn't my brother. It was a woman, dark hair, very long hair, and no face. I couldn't see the face. And she just hugged me, just grabbed me. Kind of like that picture right there.
This one?
Hair, yeah, that hair.
Yeah.
Long, tangled, kind of black hair.
Dark. Everything was, like I said, everything was dark.
And then she grabbed you,
She grabbed me. I tried to look at her face.
hugged you, kind of.
Hugged me, yeah. And I tried to look at her face, and it was just all black. And then I just woke up in the hallway.
So then you woke up in the hallway. Like, fully woke up then?
Yes.
Were you laying in the hallway?
I was laying in the hallway.
You were laying in the
Do you have that drawing thing?
Yeah, I'll get you some paper. Do you just want paper and a pencil?
Yeah. Do you have that, like, do you have those books that you can draw in?
What do you mean?
Like those books for actually drawing? Do you have that chalky kind of pencil? Remember we used to use them in art? It was like chalking. It was like,
Like ebony kind of pencil?
yeah.
Has anyone has anyone messed with Ouija board or seances at your house that you know about?
Not at my house.
Okay. Has any of your family at all that you know of?
Yeah.
Okay. Who did?
One of my cousins.
Okay. And where was that at?
It was at her friend's house.
That's probably not related, but you never know. Okay, have you or anyone else in the residence ever used or experimented with black magic or used any type of witchcraft for personal gain? Money, love, fame, anything?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And then the final question is, how would you like to be helped?
I think just to find out what's in my house.
If I can, I'm not saying I can, but if I could get rid of it, would you like me to?
Yes.
So, what you're drawing right now is what you saw in your dream, correct?
The girl, woman.
That hugged you. Okay.
This house is haunted by ghosts, and they've been talking about us like vultures to the